Pids, baby. 4 games in. Not a ton of wins, so we are going to talk through it all, talk through our preseason predictions. Time to overreact just 2 games into the MLS season. And then some NWSL names. Are they all stupid? Tune in to find out now. Welcome in to the DNVR Rapids podcast from the Toyota Lounge in downtown Denver. A beautiful sunny day. Our community at large feeling less sunny as super producer Yaya almost put his super foot in someone's super ass on the drive here. And of course, speaking of asses, we have downtown Dwayne Brown right here, getting bombarded with graphic requests as we go on air. Also, someone stole our studio scarf and our ball stand. So we're having a morning, fellas, just like the Pids have had quite the 4-game start to their season. The champions gone. It's over. It's done.
You should sing the champion song for CONCACAF Champions, and that should be that official
Why
song.
aren't they doing that? It's champions.
I think it's copyrighted.
It's all the same thing.
Is it though?
Dude,
UEFA and CONCACAF, very two different entities.
Come on. I'll send FIFA an envelope with a little Skrilla's coming your way to use that song. Okay. We know you're susceptible to envelopes with cash. So,
not from Milan though.
No, definitely not. 1 full game and a half in, I'm starting to think, holy cow, if Chris Armas pulls this off, we used to never do anything in cups, and now he's got a Leagues Cup 3rd place, and he's going to have LAFC's scalp in Champions Cup. Then the second half of that game starts a little different. They are eliminated, and then 2 could not be more opposite ties to start the MLS. I mean, just like on completely opposite spectrums. Yeah, your biggest takeaways from these 4 games, man.
Usually around this time, you can kind of start seeing what the team is, right? You can kind of start figuring it out. So far, there's only one trend that I could really put my whole opinion behind, and that's this team is a home team. This team does not want to win away. They're looking for draws on the away, back-to-back against LAFC and in St. Louis. That offense looked putrid. They were trying to score. The passing was horrible. At home, completely different story. 5 goals in 2 games. And 3 run of play, which I put on Twitter that I would not believe in this offense till they scored a run of play, and they did. That's my fear. Can Armas muster enough away offense production to keep yourself at the middle of the table, top of the table, or are you going to be struggling for one of those last playoff spots because they're not so good offensively on the road?
Yeah, 100%. Where's your panic meter here, Dwayner?
I'm pretty low. Do we want to bring up the?
We can bring up the panic meter, absolutely.
Folks,
it'll be up soon. You can talk.
Okay.
Don't be so visually.
It's the paddle of panic.
It's great.
I'm pretty
people
low.
like us were schooled, you know.
I'm pretty
We're old
low
enough.
still. I'm at a thumbs up from Rapid Man level.
Whoa!
It's 2 games in. I don't count Champions games. One of those, it was -7. Everything in that game was dumb. The other one, who cares? It's over. We're out of that. We can focus on MLS now.
Which was also my thought. Like, I never thought they would go far. And I think with the injuries and the depth, probably for the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
it's a loser's mentality, but I mean,
well, I
You
mean,
are Rapids
up
fans.
the Pens, baby.
I mean, hey, that killed us last year was the depth. So getting out, if you're listening, we've got a panic chart here. At the lowest level is thumbs up from Rapid Man to missing scoreboard pixels to tailgate out of Dev Dogs, getting a little worried there. Dick's Sporting Goods Park, weather delay. RSL up 3 by halftime. That's very high panic level. And then the highest panic level is Anthony Hudson returns to the Colorado Rapids, which is
Nightmare fuel right there.
nightmare fuel.
You don't like the prodigal son?
So, no, I don't. No, I'm pretty low panic. It's 2 games in, 2 games into the season. We have 0 losses so far.
Undefeated.
Season
on.
so far.
There's one defeat in there. Come on, guys. Like,
So it's true. It's true. But away goals, yeah.
they still lost 0-1.
Oh, they lost. All right. I remember it.
That's Champions Cup. That doesn't count.
Haven't won
Doesn't
at
count.
LAFC in since Hector was a pup, as Marlo
It
would
feels
say.
like decades at this point.
Yeah, it really would. I'm at about the tailgates out of Dev Dogs, and it's not wieners that have me concerned. It's wingers, my guys.
The old Oscar Mayer winger.
That's like and one street hoops when someone makes a crazy move and they just shut the game down like that. We should honestly wrap up the pod.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
That's
We're
right.
done here.
That's good for me.
5 minutes in was good enough.
And I thought, I mean, they're still figuring out some formation stuff. The 4-2-3-1 in the St. Louis game with Cole as the left winger was just rough. They lacked all shape. They lacked all sorts of just ability to handle possession. Georgie was kind of in a role where he's not really seen the ball ever. And when he is, it's like in just scattered attempts to get the fast break going, and he couldn't really initiate it. Hafa wasn't being utilized, and they lacked any sort of width.
Yep.
Just no width to the team whatsoever. I think with Keegan and Cannon, you are a bit more defensive in those outside backs. It's not like having a Vines who's going to push up a little more. So the lack of width has really been a concern. And in that more conventional 4-3-3, which worked well defensively against LAFC, a little less once they had to try and get back into the draw. That seemed to have a lot more effectiveness. I mean, I was telling you guys for the first 3 games, I was like, where are the crosses?
Yep.
I was at a point where I longed for crosses to nowhere, which was like a joke of ours offline of like, that's watching a Rapids game. You just see like 20 crosses going nowhere. And finally against Dallas, we got back to that. We got back to having some width, having some play, some overlaps a little more. And Georgie outside was much more of a focal point. Hafa gets the brace, and all of a sudden he's coming alive because you are that width he's benefiting from. So yeah, it's wingers, not wieners, that have me concerned. And I wonder if there's a world where this 4-3-3 has some legs, where Josh, Ollie, and Cole can all play together in that midfield, can be more of a reliable holding midfield where you aren't squandering leads, which of course did happen in that Dallas game. That was crazy.
And it wasn't even bad defensively, right? It was just like 5-6 minutes of a complete relapse, and then Lucho just kind of going off. And
Exactly.
And then you just got... He was an MVP 2 years ago. He beat Messi out for a reason. Like, he's not a dude that just kind of showed up and was like kind of good. He's been killing this league for a while.
Had more goal contributions last season than his MVP season in 23. So like the dude hasn't dropped off at all.
Exactly. Dude's still a baller. So it's not crazy for him to like cook you. especially when you have a guy like Peter Musa that's running behind him and taking those wide spots, which is what the Rapids need, and that's what we saw from Georgie on the other side. And you saw Hoffa open up a lot more, and those overland runs with like Ollie and Cole being able to be more of that kind of double 10 even, and leaving Atencio back really helped out the Rapids offensively. They felt like they finally had some sort of connection between each other.
Yep.
But that's the other issue. On the attack, there was always that fear, that speed. With like Shaq Moore running at the guys like on the wings, it's you leave too little backwards, and then you get really fearful. So there has to be like some sort of give and take.
Exactly.
Eventually. But offensively, it's kind of what you want. But you do need Ollie to track back a lot quicker on those kind of things.
Way better in possession, Dwayne. But yeah, when you have Georgie up top, Kevin up top, then you do leave those outside backs a little uncovered.
Yeah, I mean, possession's great. But you look at the St. Louis game where we won possession 60-40, and we were outshot 17-2. So you like you're saying, like you can't get shots, much less shots on target, which we had 0 in that match, if you're not getting the ball in front of the net. And again, it's great that possession is picking up, and we were controlling sort of some of that game. But again, I mean, it gets down to the final score. We're not playing for orange slices and pats on the back, Capri Suns. We've got to get wins, because this Western Conference, as we saw last year, we kept saying over and over, these teams are going to keep getting better. That summer window, the teams that buy championships are going to buy those players to try to buy more championships. And these early games, we need to get as many points as we can while these other teams are figuring it out like we are.
100%. I want to get into a few more of the depth issues, and then I need a panic paddle meter from our guy Yaya. On the other side of this, come join the Toyota chat. Of course, we are presented by Toyota. Toyota, an official proud partner of the Burgundy Boys of the Colorado Rapids, and the official vehicle of DNVR. No better family car, no better Colorado car. Trucks and SUVs are part of Toyota's DNA. They have been for ages. Just great car to get lost in the mountains with. Go on a nice little road trip. Maybe, pack in some Burgundy Boys and head to the Richard to watch the Pids. What would be better than that in a Toyota? We're so grateful for Toyota's partnership and support of all our shows, including the Pids. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Colorado Rapids and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. And of course, not just Toyota, but UC Health, the kit sponsor for the Pids, and a kit sponsor for this show right here, where the badge goes.
El corazón.
On
right
El corazón, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. They're all in on KSE stuff because they're an official partner of Avalanche and Nuggets as well. UC Health here to remind you to take care of yourself, to ways to be healthier. I'm really focused on my sleep. I'm trying to not road rage as much. Yeah. That was a no I had to make like 2 years ago of like, don't sweat it, man.
I don't got to worry about that. I never road rage. I'm fine.
I got to watch the Pids, every Sunday or Saturday, and then come back and talk to you guys about, like, I got enough high blood pressure issues in my life. I don't need to also get mad at the morons on the road.
UC Health really comes in handy when I'm leaving the 4th of July DSGP game with the Flowbots playing in the background, and I'm just in the parking lot screaming, "Get out of my way!" That's when UC Health comes at me and tells me, "Relax, take it easy. It's gonna be okay."
Live life like there is tomorrow. Really is living life like you're not stuck at the Richard parking lot because there's a Flowbots concert. Because those are the moments where you feel like a tomorrow is not coming.
No. And
So live life like there is a tomorrow, opposite of if you're stuck at the dick in a traffic jam because of a Flowbots concert. Learn more about living like there is a tomorrow. Go to ucl.org for more info. UCL Live Extraordinary. Yeah, the depth I do think in the Dallas game started to play out. And I think that's part of like taking on those 2 goals is Murphy, that entire back 5, obviously Big Steph, and that back 4 has played every single game. Hafa, Georgie, Cole, Ollie, and Kevin have started every single game. And they're not pulling the plug or bringing the subs out until at least the 75th. Chris has been slow on bringing out the subs. And I think that was also kind of a tired team.
It honestly is, man. And that's what happened. And this, after all, watching all of last year, this feels like a calling card for what Chris Armas is. This is kind of what he's always kind of done. He's always kind of played the guys that he trusts out until their legs are kind of done. That's the reason last year there was a huge depth issue, a huge issue with injuries because some guys were just exhausted. Come June, July, the team was not ready to continue to fight at the level they were fighting. And I think it's time for Chris or somebody on that staff to kind of take a step back, realize that these guys really are that tired, and give them a break. KSB has played 10 minutes, 15 at most, and he's had great minutes. He should be out there at
when he
minute
came
60.
in at the end of the St. Louis game, the offense kind of felt like it came alive. They finally did find some width,
Exactly. Same thing with Calvin Harris on the other side. Whenever Calvin Harris comes on, that's a true pure winger right there. That's a guy that knows how to run and get the ball to whoever's in the middle, even if it's to nobody. He'll at least put it into the box. Chris Armas just needs to kind of get into the rhythm of trusting these bench guys. You don't bring in Alex Harris just to keep him on the bench so early. That guy, Rafa, was exhausted at the end of the game. He could barely run. Bring in Alex Harris, change the pace of game. To have him do something different. See what the kid has. You're already tied 3-3. You already made the defensive change. Throw the striker out there. See if you can get some offense sparked as well. It just feels like Chris always struggles with his subs. Like he did it all last year. It's kind of becoming a issue this year already. For me, the panic meter, it's probably right behind Dev Dogs. What was that? What was the one?
The second one was...
there's a blessing from Rapid, man. Pixels missing in the scoreboard. God, I've got a good memory.
Yeah, that's the one that we're so used to. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
The Pixels one,
right.
Scoreboard of Pixels, it's worrying. It's worrying, but I think Armas can fix it. I trust him. But it's also, he has to start making the changes now. These guys are exhausted. The schedule is going to get more congested eventually. Yeah, missing scoreboard pixels.
I mean, Dwayne, in our DMs, I was saying in some ways, it's reminding me a smidge of the Nuggets where it's like the philosophy from the front office is we're giving you more depth in the form of young guys who are affordable, who can fill out the bottom of your roster. And that was the takeaway from the presser you were at after the offseason moves. If we got more talented and we got younger. And yet Chris is really riding his guys, which are the vets.
Yeah, he's riding his guys. I mean, you also have to be cognizant of we're starting every game with 7 injuries. There's a lot of guys. So that could play to both points, right? It's like, dude, you got a lot of injuries. So, yeah, you need to be making subs. But you've got these unproven guys. So if you are going to make a sub, you don't have some of your veterans to sub onto the pitch. So, you've got young guys. Yes, we have Alex Harris. Yes, we drafted him very high, but he's an unknown quantity at the MLS professional level. So you've got a 3-3 game against one of the better teams in the West. You've got a guy who's scored 2 goals already. You've got a guy who has 2 assists. Do you really want to sub them out for someone that you don't know? So I can understand sort of the hesitancy to make those subs to some of these guys. I mean, we're pulling guys up from R2 already to fill out the roster, like
Anderson Rosa and Michael Edwards making debuts. Liked Edwards quite a bit in that game.
Like Rosa quite a bit too.
Yeah. I liked the way he looks.
Yeah.
Also a little upset Ian Smith made a debut in Portland and he should be with us.
Yeah.
But that's for another day. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it's unknown quantities, you know. So it's like I can understand the hesitancy to not want to throw those guys in when you've got a win on the line. You know, like if we're getting our butts kicked and it's just we've got to make changes and just see what happens, then sure. Like sub everybody out, give your vets a rest, throw in your new guys. But Dallas was a winnable game for both sides. And both sides were winning with multiple goals at different points. So it's, you know, I think both of those squads were trying to be very tactical. And I think maybe Chris Armas just kind of overthought it, you know, and like kind of over tacticaled himself out of it.
To that point, why would you bring in Anderson Rosa, which is more a liability for you to lose, than an Alex Harris who might be able to help you win as well? Like, that's my kind of thing. Like, you're completely right. Like, I get the head, like, being kind of, like, hesitant, whether you bring that guy in or not. But you bring a Rosa who, if he messes up, Dallas scores a goal and you actually lose, instead of an Alex Harris that if he just doesn't score, you walk away with the same result, which is a draw. That's the part where I'm like, why aren't you trusting the young guys up front? Why aren't you bringing in a KSB who you've had under you for a whole year? Why aren't you giving Kelvin Harris, who you've seen be here and be a productive player under you for more than a year already, actually come and play? That's the part where I'm more confused with the strategy, because I do agree with you. Like, I get not wanting to bring in the guys of, like, are they unknown? But you're willing to do it defensively where, like, if they mess up, you actually lose the game. Unlike Alex Harris or KSB mess up, you just don't win the game. You walk away with the draw.
That's fair, but I think when you're changing it up top, you're changing out, like, high-end positions. You know, you change out, you put in a Rosa on defense, you've still got high-level veterans that are you got high-level veterans around that guy, you know, like that are going to help him out. You know, if you swap out a Hoffa for an Alex Harris, you know, yeah, you've got Georgie, but that's playing a one-man up top, and I don't know, that to me it's a higher risk. So that's where it makes a little more sense, you know, is that you're subbing out a guy to be surrounded by vets versus subbing out a guy to play striker for your team when he I don't know how much they're gelling. I mean, the wingers are already struggling. To get it,
they have
well,
no
that's
wingers.
what I'm saying.
They have
like
Kevin Cabral and Georgia on there.
so you're gonna,
those are
well,
wingers.
and then that's kind of to my point.
Yeah.
So you're gonna throw an Alex Harris, you know, into that.
Well,
mess,
Calvin's
you know.
appearances have been tough.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
he has not had much of an impact at all.
Kevin, like
Kevin, after the first game against LAFC, I'd say pretty positive, and since then it's been pretty rough.
yeah.
It's almost like they have to go to a 4-4-2.
Yeah,
And I think that would be a
100%.
solution for that.
Yeah,
a lot
totally.
better.
and
Then
that-
you pair him up with somebody. He's not
Yeah.
left out on an
that
island.
4-3-3 in non-possession can blend into more of a 4-4-2
Defensively,
with
and on
Kevin
possession.
as your outside right midfielder. The problem is on the left, where Cole becomes the de facto left midfielder, and he's not doing, like, to me, they really need to figure out Cole's role in this three-man midfield. Like, now that he has more cover with Josh, he should be able to roam and do what Cole does best, you know, and insert himself up top. And he hasn't quite looked comfortable in creating danger and stuff. And
It's
the
almost-
end of that LAFC
Yeah.
game was frustrating, where he's just passing the ball backwards anytime he gets possession. Yeah, you need Cole to be better.
That's kind of why I like the 4-4-2, but like the diamond midfield, I think that would help him a lot more because you have Josh, you have Ollie, and you have Cole. Then you have Georgie, where Cole and Ollie both like kind of switching sides, and so does Georgie kind of going into the wing. But you do need maybe a Sam Vines on the left side or the right side who can help with some of that
100%.
That winger that like width. And then you do have a Rafa who also loves to go to the left side quite a bit. And then hopefully Alex Harris can find some of that midfield. I think that would cover a lot more ground. I think that's where everybody would feel a lot more comfortable because then you just keep Josh as a true 6 all the way back, helping out defensively, but pushing forward when needed. But again, you do need that left back that's willing to push all the way up. And the Rapids don't have that right now. Keegan, you saw him last year when he pushed up. He just got burnt. I don't think he got faster over their offseason. If anything, he might have gotten slower. Age, nobody beats it. So at the end of the day, it's just, can these guys feel comfortable enough where they're at? Or is it, do we need to take out an Ollie? Do we need to take out a Cole? Do we need to take out a Josh and figure out that midfield? Because it might be too redundant to have 3 guys that do the exact same thing when we're missing 2 guys on the wing that none of them do that what they need.
100%. And that's why ultimately my panic meter isn't that high, because I think, you know what they really could use is a Sam Vines and a Coup Di Pietro. Those guys will be here soon enough.
Yep.
Yeah. It's also, we're missing like Sam Bassett too, who does exactly what Cole, exactly what Ollie, exactly what Georgie
Sam might
did.
get a little more run at this point, honestly.
Yeah, I did. He got 1 game and that's about it. And it's like, do we put him out on the left? But is it just having Cole out there? Like, is it the same thing kind of? There's about 4 or 5 guys that do the exact same thing in this midfield, and you can't play them all. Because from Connor Ronan to Georgie to all the guys I mentioned, they all play exactly the same and they all like doing the same thing. There's not a lot of variety with them, which is great because when you have 2 of those guys at the same time, it works great. But then you need the wingers to offset what they do so it can all work together. But when you have 5 guys at the same time playing in the same areas, it just becomes a cluster fuck in the middle and it's like too hard to move around.
I've got something to say about Connor on the other side real quick, and then I want to get into our predictions and everything in just a second. Connor, I thought, came in and like really gave a spark in those last 15 minutes. Best sub we've seen all season.
Second best. My guy
Who am I
KSB is
forgetting?
number 1, baby.
Oh, man.
That offense
Yeah,
was
the
horrid.
St. Louis
That
game
game was
whoa.
horrid. Like, and then that guy just coming in and was like,
Yikes.
yeah, Ronan, that's your guy, Dwayne.
Love him.
No, I mean,
I was nervous about him playing at all this season. Given
he loves
how
Josh.
Yeah, given how congested it is in the midfield, plus you've got Josh, like Ollie. Those, again, it gets back to what you were saying earlier, is that you've got guys who kind of do the same thing. It's always dangerous. It feels dangerous to put Ronan out there in any sort of D-mid type situation because that's not his jam. His jam is FIFA cheat code passes, that land right on Georgie's feet or right on Kevin's feet, like he's like that weird cheat code distributor of the ball.
Few rack up more back heel passes per minute than Connor Ronan.
He's also just getting stronger, man. Like, the closer St. Patrick's Day gets, the stronger he gets.
That's what fuels him.
He's maxing out. He's going Super Saiyan right now.
No, but dude, Ronan was great. I like Ronan. He looked rusty at moments, and it's like, of course, you've been out of action for so long.
Yeah.
And coming off an injury too.
But kind of looking at her talking that midfield again with Ronan, it's like, is he going to be a trade piece? Do you sell him and try to go get a legit winger like this summer? Like, some of these guys, that midfield is so congested at this point. Like, because we still have Wayne Frederick, who I know they believe in, because they've given him some already minutes. It's like, there's going to be a point where, like, you're going to have to choose 4 of these guys, and the rest are either going to have to go to Rapids 2, or you're going to sell them, and you're going to go try to get a left back or right back, or a couple of wingers to help you out because it's too much at this point. And the midfield's great. The depth is great. We begged for it last year. But at one point, you're going to have to make a decision of who do you want to keep around so you can, because Ronan right now, with the injury, unfortunately, I think he's the outside man looking in.
Yeah.
Especially because Joshua Tensor just got here.
Yep.
Ollie is a homegrown. They're not going to get rid of a homegrown. Cole and Georgie are Cole and Georgie. Wayne is still under contract with the Generation Adidas, I believe.
No.
So Ronan is like, okay, where do you fit in here? Do we put him after? I kind of want to try him at left winger. See what he does up there.
It's not an idea I hate. It's
Like,
not an idea I
you
hate.
gotta
I
figure
like.
out
I
where
mean, he
he's
played
gonna fit
O'Meara
in.
there. Like, why not Ronan?
Like, he's pinpoint passing. Like, can he put it into the box and try to get it into Rafa's head? Like, that's kind of what I want to see from him.
Yeah.
He's offensive minded anyway. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's nice.
a good idea. I like it. Let's do it. Let's do that on Saturday.
Sounds great
Somebody
to me.
call Chris Armas.
Sounds great to me. KSB right wing, maybe?
Kevin
Switch it
Cabral
up
down in Rapids too.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it in my veins.
Exactly. If you had to go rapid fire and give me your biggest concern and the thing you're most encouraged by from this early season. Dwayne, you want to start us off?
Biggest concern, shots on target. Yes, we scored some nice goals, but before that, 2 games in a row with 0 shots on target, getting outshot 17-2 in one of those games, 11-5 in the other. That's been worrisome. Encouraged by Cheeto and Ian Murphy. I love that tandem in the center of the back line. I love Cheeto's ability to sprint back and make the saves when needed. I really like those 2 guys.
Just wait till Max Lu gets back. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
That's like a legit dude.
no doubt. And then you can play 3-man back line, easy peasy, no problem.
Yep. And you don't even need wing backs. You can just put in
Yep.
2 wingers back there,
Yep.
which they don't have, but you could. Most encouraged by has to be the offense. I know it's been kind of lately, and I'm kind of going the opposite of Dwayne, but at this point last year, we didn't even see this. 3 goals in a game was kind of like crazy. But seeing Rafa click already with 2 goals and seeing Ollie, that encourages me right away. 2 games in the MLS, it feels good, and then 2 set pieces. I love it. I think it's only trending on the right way. Most worried about is the rotation, how we were just talking about Chris Armas. Is he Michael Malone? Is he going to be stubborn? You brought that point up to me, and I can't stop thinking about it since then, where it's just your guys, and then you forget about the rest, and you kind of have to force them to play the young guys. But you just need to rotate. You need to see what these guys have. KSB was a Generation Adidas, one of the highest ranked college players of all time for a reason. Give him a shot. He's going to be good. He comes from a pedigree background, blue blood school. Let's see what he can do for the Rapids.
Definitely most encouraged by what Dwayne said. Cheeto, Murph Dog, what a pairing. Love those guys. Cheeto's the veteran presence, on ball, off ball you need. And then he's got all this physical skill. And Murphy's just like immaculate. Like immaculate. Plays perfectly. I think he's played 90 minutes of every single game, right? So
Yeah. He is a specimen, isn't he? He looks like a center back should look like.
He's
100%.
just like filled out. Dude.
100%. And my concern, it's the width. It's figuring out some answers on the wing, and I trust that eventually these young guys will emerge and they'll get that. But that is my biggest concern. Speaking of concerns, we all had some crazy preseason predictions, and I think there's some of these were kind of, got our heads held up high around the office, around the water cooler, just more of a coffee machine at our office, and some where we'd rather no one bring up that I had San Diego FC as 14th in the West.
I actually feel good about that still.
Yeah?
I feel great about that.
Quite the debut.
Well, I think LA is worse than people are giving credit to.
The 2 LA teams. Now, I love that they're struggling, but yeah, for my predictions, they are a little concerning.
And that's what San Diego can't create. They struggle. If it's not Dwyer, they're not creating. And that's the issue with them. I don't think. And then Chucky Lozano's already out. He's already injured. I think that team's still going to be worse. That's where I feel kind of good. The worst one I feel about is probably San Jose at 11th. And they're fun. They're good. Arenas is doing a great job.
They're good, bro.
Like they're really fun to watch. Like, but Galaxy being fourth still feels really good to me too.
Yeah, that was a good call. Minnesota's also looking awesome. But yeah, Dwayne, we were on San Jose, and Bruce is getting it done.
Yeah, that's why I had them ranked fifth for preseason prediction. I still feel really good about that because I do think things are going to shift. Seattle always gets better. Galaxy always gets better. Dallas, I think they're good, but maybe, and I think it's off season or just kind of early season. But they don't feel as good as I thought they were. And I know Yaya will disagree with me on that, but
that's fine. You just hate them.
I do hate them so much. But I mean, I just thought they were okay. They weren't the powerhouse that I thought they were going to be.
You also put them in third.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I really thought they were going to be a powerhouse, but I wasn't super impressed by them. My biggest whoopsie is Vancouver in dead last.
Vancouver. Champagne soccer over
sitting
there.
at number 2 right now, I think.
Still don't believe in them. I will die on this hill.
Dude, Jaden Nelson looking like Leroy Sané in that first game really gave me fuel. And I had to have him ahead of Portland after that playoff game. And then they destroyed Portland in that first regular season game. That made me feel really good. Vancouver's going to be frisky. The Cascadia Cup going to be very interesting this year.
That's why I hate national pundits that say that the West isn't good. Like, you look down the West,
the West,
and it's like it's loaded, it's good, it's fun. Like
the West just doesn't have Messi.
Yeah, and it's like so much diversity in each team. Like, very different play styles. Like, it matters when they play East Coast. It's like you got 3 good teams, and they just punch the shit out of each other. And then the West is like everybody's like it's a free fall. Like, who's gonna come out on top? Because everybody's just trying to beat the crap out of each other.
You got to earn it in the West. Fantastic. Like, it's a bloodbath. You know, like the East Coast, it's the 3 teams, 4 teams, and that's gonna be it. And it's everybody else just trying to get into the playoffs. Whereas in the West, it's a legit bloodbath to see who is going to win out, because there are 6-7 teams in the West that could all end up in first place headed to the final. Easy.
Yeah. And I mean, this, with the conference being that wide open, I think this summer window is going to line up to have some bangers where
Antoine Griezmann,
big purchases will be
once
made.
De Bruyne coming.
De Bruyne, like the league come that, like, you're just gonna have so much things happen. Wait, what was the one that you feel the worst about?
Honestly, man, it's like being more bullish on SKC than I was on Dallas. That was stupid. That was just stupid. I mean, and look, Jovic is doing his thing. He's actually banged quite a few goals, and I think the Galaxy are missing him. But that's kind of all they got right now.
Yeah, they have nothing around him.
SKC just isn't.
They have Tommy, and that's about it. Tommy and him, and that's like.
And you warned me I was too high on Austin. And we'll see. Like,
I'll play out.
The Granada signing has yet to really play many minutes. What was he? Uzuni.
Yeah.
I was probably too high on Portland.
The thing with Portland, I think at the end of the day, they're one of those teams that buy championships, and they just kind of like
offensively, they've got a lot to figure out. They're another team that's dealing with a lot of injuries. Austin, in their like cream jerseys, was playing Portland in their black jerseys. Phenomenal kit matchup. Yeah. Phenomenal kit matchup.
The MLS has quite a bit of those. They don't look great up close, some of them, but like once you see them on TV, it's like, oh, it looks really cool going up against each other.
Well, that's what that's for.
Yeah, so it's like, dope. I like this.
It's how do they look from far away is what it's all about.
RSL's Champions Cup elimination gave me fuel. Yeah. That felt really nice.
They're also going to be
wonderful.
Bad.
Yes.
They're just going to be bad in general.
100%. 100%.
Love that. Injected into my veins.
We've got some new NWSL names. We can bring up that tweet if you would so kindly, Alyssa. I put that in our chat. Some crazy ones being thrown out there, guys.
Some crazy ones or some bad ones?
Yeah, we'll get into it. Denver Peak FC.
Are we going to go through all of these? Go through them first, and then
Yeah,
we'll
I'll
come
just
back.
read them off.
Read them off.
Colorado 14ers FC. Ay. Colorado Summit FC. Just pick one. God, spare me the FC on everything. Denver Elevate, you guessed it, FC, which I'm sorry, but that's brand. That's not a soccer club. Denver FC, which props for the creativity. Denver Gold, you guessed it, FC.
I'm starting to think that this might be a football club.
No. Also, why don't we try SC?
That's one
Embrace
of
our
my biggest
Americanness.
pet peeves.
Yeah.
I am so irritated. I'm going to go off on a little
Please,
soapbox here.
yeah.
Nothing irritates me more than American soccer fans during World Cup season. I don't care if it's men's or women's. They always put out their commercials. In America, we call it soccer.
That's right.
And they put out all their ads. It's called soccer. All of the soccer fans start making fun of, calling it football and footy, and they're all about soccer. But I'll be damned if every time there's a new team and someone, we should call it blah, blah, blah FC. And it's like, make up your mind. You're either all in on your American soccer or you just a wannabe European, let's call it FC. And I'm talking about the fans here, but man, if you're an American who's always saying during World Cup time, we call it soccer, you should never have the letters FC ever come out of your mouth when you're talking about naming an MLS, an NWSL, a USL, whatever the league is. It should always be SC coming out of your mouth. Now, if you're not one of those person who's taking the whole soccer pride during World Cup, you are exempt from my rant. But otherwise, it's just weird. It should be SC.
It's at the heart of the ethos of this podcast in a lot of ways. Yeah. Is I think part of the struggles in soccer media in this company is trying to be something you are not. And I think we all have plenty of confidence in our soccer roots to where we don't have to pretend to be anything we're not.
No.
And they don't call it football in Italy. They call it calcio. So I spare me the football lecture, we don't need to try and be anything we're not. We can be what we are and have all the blends of cultures we have here, someone who comes from Bruce Arena country, someone from Italy, someone from, roots in Mexico and blend those cultures together. We don't need to try and be British.
That's the
we
thing.
have the sun out here. We're not impoverished and desperate and
we
alcoholics.
Have good food too.
Yeah, exactly. We have beautiful lives. We don't need to try to be something that we're not. Yeah. And it's stop forcing it. My club's AC, Associazione Calcio, Soccer Association. Stop trying to be something you're not, man.
Pumas is literally a university, in Mexico City. It's it's not University F Fleet. No, it's it's El Universitario, the university. That's their nickname because they come from a university where they started
100%.
off. You're right. You don't have to be anything else by yourself. I like when they put the SC, FC, but you're right. It should be SC in the U.S. because it is soccer here. I know nobody that calls it football, and if you do, they're talking about Bo Nix and how they're going to beat the crap out of the Chiefs. It's never about how the Rapids are doing. It's soccer. How's soccer doing?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
So any of these that stick out or you would maybe spin a variation off of? Or is this a burn it and start anew on this list? What are we thinking, boys?
I hope that they are taking the write-ins seriously. I hope there's good write-ins to choose from. I get it. We're Colorado. There's mountains here. But I just feel that there's more to Colorado than a peak or a summit or elevate. All of those things sound like corporate,
yes.
they're very corporate. They sound like
They sound
you
like
have
the
to
name
go
of conferences
yes,
you've attended.
that's what
for
I was
your
trying to
job.
think of.
Yes.
A convention, like
Yes.
it's the title of a corporate convention. It's Summit, it's
Yeah,
Summit
we'll be
2025.
attending Denver Peak in March. Will
Yeah.
you be there? Oh, great. We can network and sidebar some things.
I think there's much more exciting things to choose from in Colorado. I will bring this up because this was put out, I know, on Blue Sky. I don't know if it was also on Twitter,
Denver
but it was
Blue
from
Sky FC.
So now even that I like.
Orange Sky.
Look, there's your kit sponsor right there. But Matthew Wick, C38er, if you've ever been on the bus, like he's helping you sing and he always at the tailgates. Good dude. Put out a thread with an idea. I'm not going to get really crazy into the specifics of it, but it's at the old Zuni or Zuni, however you like to say it, power plant, kind of over in the Santa Fe Arts District type area. They're going to be probably demolishing that. And he was like, let's put the stadium there. Stadium can be on one side of the river. You've got your training, everything facilities on the other side. It's in, a heavy Latin area. So there's a great connection to the community. A lot of other things. Just go search for it and read through it. It's just really well thought out. I want to give him a shout out for
in
it.
the river,
So it's right there.
W Rapids? Rapids W?
Rapid
Well,
man
here's the
just
name.
blessing us.
Rapid Women?
Here's the name that he threw out was Denver Sol, SOL. This is a state that has over 300 days of
Get it?
sun
Yeah.
every year.
I thought you were talking about like the Kia Soul, so I'm glad.
So maybe there's a
Toyota
Kia.
here, guys. No.
Maybe there's a Kia kit sponsor for them down the way, but it's also the soul of that community and reaching to the Latin roots there. So there's the double play on the name. It's bright. It gives hope. It doesn't feel corporate. It feels like Colorado. Like, we've had second fake spring now. Everyone was happy because the sun was out. It was warm. You get to watch soccer here in the summer where there's no humidity and just bask in the sun of Colorado. Denver Soul just is a great name. Well done. I've been sitting on that for 2 weeks to talk about it on the show. And, man, I think that's a great write-in.
Hit up Jordan Angeli right now.
So I know, Jordan, I hope you or, Cohen, the ownership group, somebody from the club is watching. Really take a look at that. He puts some great. What I love about it, it's not just throwing a name out. Like he has like legit reasons to the community, to Colorado, about why that name exists. Whereas a lot of these options just feel like the usual Colorado names. Throw a Summit on it, throw a Peak on it, throw a 14ers on it. And I'm sure I put write-ins. I didn't think about my write-ins as deeply as Matthew did. I think that's a great option that should be on a next round of voting.
If it's going to be right there on River Plate, just call it the Denver Plate too. It might be better.
I'm up for all options right now. Like I would love to see a second round. I hope that when they say, if you want to write in, put a write in, I really hope that they do go and read that and show the community that they are reading that by doing a second round and including some of the input from the community. I think it's a good PR move. And I think it's a good way to show that they're listening, because I do sense from the ownership and talking to them that they really are invested in the community and in the club. I feel like they're going to be good listeners, so I hope we see that.
I just want a more conventional city mascot.
Saber-toothed Tigers, the Denver Saber-toothed Tigers.
Yeah, sounds great. I'd actually be in on that. Mountaineers would work for me, though maybe that's less gender neutral than we'd like. So Mountain Women could work. I don't know. Help me workshop that.
The Denver Nucks.
I love the history of the beatnik poets in Denver. And I think the Denver Beats, the Denver Beatniks, there might be something there.
Boy, I like
cool.
that.
That you
The
could
Beats.
tap in, and it is
Denver
like,
Beat, SC.
right, exactly. It's. I mean, right, exactly. That's.
Ooh.
It's.
Ooh.
It's It's a little. It's off the beaten path. It's a little more niche, and no pun intended, but yes, that works. Like it fits that culture, right? Like we're rebels. We don't.
Or we can just do what Utah does and take whatever any other state does.
Yeah.
We can be the Denver Jazz.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, the Denver
the Denver Utah Hockey Club. Like we could just name the team that.
Real Salt Denver.
Real Salt Denver. We can just do whatever Utah does and copy whatever they do.
Denver United FC. Why not do that? So yeah, that's the directions I would attempt.
I actually really like the Soul. I like that one.
God, it's so good.
The Denver
Matt,
Beats
hope
too
you're
is pretty
listening.
cool.
We're just gonna mispronounce Seoul every time to where it does sound like the Kia means to the.
Well, it sounds
it's
the same. Kia
as- how
Soul.
can you mispronounce
it's
that?
It's just spelled different. You pronounce it the same way.
How do you pronounce Seoul?
Seoul.
Seoul in español.
Soul. And how do you pronounce soul in English? Soul.
Yeah, there's more of a U
That's the
sound
joy
to it.
of the double meaning there.
I think you're thinking of Saul.
I'm in on that. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, anyway, I hope that
really
they got
they
some
get
great
it right.
write-ins, and
I
I
really
hope
hope they get it right.
have another
Just call
round.
them the Rapids ladies.
So,
If they're just
gross.
gonna go so ununique, might as well just take whatever the Rapids are doing. Like that's what I hate. That if they're already gonna go ununique, just connect the two clubs.
Hey man, maybe this was all just let's throw some names out there to get the conversation going. Maybe this is all a part of their plan, which I hope. I hope these aren't the final six.
I mean, honestly, Rapids women, I mean, that's what they've done in Europe, where it's like, yeah, we already have these established soccer brands. That's going to be Barcelona's, Arsenal.
That's what they do in Mexico.
So on and so
It's
forth.
called
I'm-
Tigres Femenil.
I'm fiercely against that.
It's Tigres Femenil. Like,
It's its own club, different ownership. Let it be its own thing.
you also
I
just hate the
don't-
Cronkies.
I don't want to see it connected to the Rapids. Like I want to
it's
see
not,
them do
so
their
that's
own
probably
thing.
not even possible.
So yeah, I just
But
I don't like
and
that.
the NWSL in its world a bigger league than the MLS is, so I think there's some disconnect there. But we've got 5 minutes for some predictions. Just Saturday games, the rest of March. Going to Austin, going to San Jose, and then hosting the Timbers and hosting Charlotte. We will talk to you after the Austin and San Jose games on the road. How many points in the next two games would get you feeling good about the Pids having turned a corner, Yaya?
4. You need a win and a draw. I'd love the 6. It'd be great, but I don't think they're gonna get the 6, especially because it's away. If anything, they might
road
come out with
games.
2.
Yeah.
And I think 4 might be really hopeful.
Yeah, 4 is I could probably still spin 2 points, but 4 is really the goal. 6, that's just fool's gold.
I feel good about 3 because I think that's what's going to happen.
3, a little win in Austin, a loss in San Jose.
A loss in Austin and a win in San Jose.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be San Jose's first loss.
The Rapids too like
And,
playing up to the competition quite a bit. They are one of those teams.
Yeah.
Also, like, mad respect. I'm glad my prediction was right, but I want Bruce to inflict pain on Bruce.
You want Bruce to get bruised.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Oh, random shout out.
Oh, please.
Scott Hammond on Twitter, Blue Sky, predicted a Keegan bomb and a Hoffa brace for last Saturday.
Wow.
I mean, that's
Ball knowing right there.
that is such a like spot on pick and not like a normal pick.
It's insane.
Well
think-
done, sir.
I think in the history of us doing predictions, 3 years,
I don't think we've ever.
I'm the only one that's ever gotten one right, and it was 1-0 Rubio against SKC. I think that's the only time
I get
any of
scores
us.
all the time, but I never get the goal scorers.
Getting the goal scorer too is so difficult.
And to do a brace plus a Keegan
Yeah.
goal, who hasn't scored a goal in 2 years,
It's an insane
that
shot.
was a wild prediction.
Do
Done.
you think we see more of the defensive heavy St. Lewis team we saw, or you think we see them a bit more offensively inspired as they were against Dallas?
I hope for the Dallas game,
But
but
doubt.
I think it's going to be the St. Louis game.
yeah, I kind of think there's a home and away approach, and I think we're getting the away approach in this one.
I think if they win in one of those two, it's going to be because of a penalty and a set piece.
The San Jose game might just be like a rock fight if Bruce and Chris just go full defensive on us. The ultimate showcase of the sport in our lovely country.
I hate that so much.
Also, some are asking, is Messi too good for this league? Thoughts, Dwayne? It is like surreal that
Is
that
Messi
dude is
too-
in the MLS, man.
Is
He's playing
Messi
so
too good
damn
to be on every possible visual advertisement for MLS?
more.
I'm just joking.
I don't think people even know Messi's playing in America. Let's really like shove it down their throats.
I'm not going to lie. I think some people aren't aware.
I know. I
Do
agree.
you
Some
think-
people
No,
aren't
I
aware.
agree.
Yeah.
So
I
a quick
think
That
I've
thing,
had the
wasn't
soccer
said
world.
sarcastically.
quick thing to talk about. We can continue it on Twitter because we only got 2 minutes here.
Correct.
I'll throw the question out.
Yeah.
I think it was Houston is now giving extra game. You can have a game in the future because Messi is not showing up in Houston.
Yeah.
I think that's BS. Like, you're not guaranteed to see anybody from either team.
Look, man,
Like-
you bought a Dynamo ticket. They should give you whatever you want. Like, who are you
Get
kidding
real
me
estate
right
in
now?
that team.
Like, I once watched the Dynamo with Yaya at the Richard, and my eyes are still bleeding. Like, are
That
you
is
kidding
fair.
me?
Oh God, nobody hates on Dynamo more
Like,
than
I'm
more than
surprised
Andre.
the
I love
Geneva
it.
Convention's not charging them for crimes against humanity. Yeah, are
Fair.
you kidding me? That's the least they could do
So-
in that terrible Houston
So for
club.
Andre, if you buy a ticket to any match, you should get another one.
For the Houston Dynamo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
No doubt.
You get a stake. You get a stake in the
Yeah.
team.
Also, by the way, anyone who attended that first game of the season against LAFC, I think should get similar treatment.
That's
Yeah.
How do
actually
you not
that's
have-
actually one that they deserve. Yeah.
How bundled up were you that you don't have frostbite, bro?
I mean, I may have had minor frostbite on my cheeks.
Take care of our
I
people.
was bright red for a couple of days.
Speaking of taking care of our people, I wanted to put this out on our first show, but I'll put it out now since the Toyota chat's getting back. If you have a Sam Bassett DU kit, send me a pic, and I will send you a free Rapids shirt. First 5 who do so get a free Rapids shirt on your boy.
If you have a Sam Bassett
DU kit.
DU kit.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, I'm going to need the inside scoop on how I can get one.
He wants to know how to get one more than anything.
Also, an Ian Smith kit, but one thing at a time. That's it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. We will be back in 2 weeks. What do we say, Dwayne?
Every time. Up the PIDs.
Up the PIDs, baby. We out. Have a lovely week.
We all silly like the mayor.